Hey, this is Jimmy Street, host of the Live and in Color with Wolfie D podcast. Hear the life and times of professional wrestler Wolfie D. From his time in the territories with PG-13 to his time in WWE, ECW, WCW, TNA, and more. Nothing is off limits and nothing will be held back. Thanks again for tuning in. Here he is, Wolfie D.
All right, guys, we are back. And again, you know, I'm always having good guests. We're on a roll, Jimmy. We're on a roll about having some good guests, ain't we?
We absolutely are.
Man, I can't wait to get this conversation going. A dude that I've known for quite a long time. The natural Chase Stevens. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. Doing good. What are we up to this morning?
Waking up, man. You know?
Yeah.
Natural wake-up call here.
We had to set Chase Stevens time. Now, this is the time that we do it normally anyway. So
perfect.
Everybody's awake and probably had their cup of coffee or something, huh?
Yeah. I had a shot of Jack, so we're good.
Yeah. That's Chase's coffee.
That'll get you started, won't it? Man, Chase, finally get you on here. I mean, we've been doing this show for 2 years now, Jimmy, something like that.
Just over.
And again, some of the people that are closest to me haven't been on here. It's really funny, but it's aligning everybody's schedule and all that shit. But we finally got you, man. I'm glad to have you on, and I hope to have a really fun conversation with you. We've done some miles together, man. We've wrestled each other. We've wrestled against each other. We've been in many different locker rooms together, man. It's been a pleasure knowing you, man, for real.
Man, I'm glad you said that on live on the air, man. I'm gonna tape that.
It's recorded, brother. You can have it.
Yeah, I'm recording that. That's going on my ringtone right there.
We've had some fun, man. The one that was really funny to me is you having all your road time in and everything. Jimmy, can you believe that Chase didn't know how much gas he had in his vehicle, or was the gauge broke? I can't remember.
The gauge is broke, but we were talking. Yeah. You know, we were doing everything illegal that you could be doing on the road.
Right.
So we're none of us have driver's licenses. Like we got open containers.
Let's preface this real quick, because I had been on probation for a charge. Nothing serious, folks. But anyway, I was on probation and I was scared to death, man. But when I got in the car, I was scared to death just because of the situation.
Yeah,
that's just as far as we'll go with all that. But so
the things we do to make our towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were late.
Yeah, totally late. Yeah.
And I believe Chris was with us. And
we had half the show with us, so I wasn't really worried. I mean, if we didn't make it, the show was not going to go on.
Right.
So we get going. I don't even know. We were maybe past Bowling Green, headed to past Louisville. I feel like I don't remember where we were going, but
no, we went past Louisville. We was about 45 minutes from Louisville, though. We was like in like that Cave City area, like a little bit above that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, on 65, on the interstate, and we're just horsing around telling stories. I meant to get gas. I meant to take an exit, get gas. I wasn't paying attention to the gauge, and all of a sudden the check engine light comes on. I was like, oh God, we're out. We're done. And Wolfie's like, dude, you got 30 miles. The light come on. I was like, not on this car, man. When it comes on, it's done. And all of a sudden, as soon as I said that, I was like, and I was like trying to fight it over to the side of the road. I mean, it was done. And he's like, are you kidding me? I was like, man, I wish I wasn't.
So, first thing in my head, I'm going, the cops are going to come. I mean, that's just what's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Out the road and look at us, and here they're coming any second now. So I'm panicking.
And it's like hot too, man. It's like July. We're like dripping sweat.
Yeah.
And
keep going. Familiar with I-65 in that area. There's not a lot there. When you pass the major towns, there's not a lot there. Yeah. And we look over, and there's one house, and you got to go down
like a farmhouse.
Yes, you got to go down the embankment, climb a barbed wire fence, and then go on to some stranger's property that lives out in the country.
Like a 6-foot barbed wire fence too, not like some little, white picket fence. You know what I mean? It's like it's a I'm escaping jail type of fence.
And is this shoot barbed wire or working barbed wire here?
No,
it's shoot.
It's
shoot.
Yeah. I don't
and Wolfie goes,
wire, Jimmy. I'm just saying barbed wire,
Wolfie goes, I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go over there and get some gas. I was like, you gonna get over that fence? And he's like, yeah, I'll get over that fence. I was like, well, I mean, more power to you, man.
I was desperate. I needed to get out of there.
Yeah, Wolfie was ready, man. He hit that fence like I don't even know, like a ton of bricks. I mean, he just ran down that hill, hit that fence, and went up and over it like he's done it a couple times before. He takes off towards that house, and I was like, man, that house is farther than he thinks it is. He better slow down. He had a good half-mile run on him. But from where we were sitting, it was only like it only looked like it was like a block away. But I knew it was. Yeah. I knew it was in the distance. Yeah. And as he's going, man, here comes like these 2 Rottweilers come running, start charging at him.
Oh, hell.
So, man, you thought Wolfie was running fast trying to get that gas. You should have seen him running back trying to get in the car.
I remember, man, it's like I came around the corner and because I had to get to the door where I figured the guy probably, went in and out all the time. It wasn't on the front side. It was around the back there. So as I turned that back corner, that fucking dog, it was just one of them. And that motherfucker was jaw barking, growling, and his face was right at my crotch. And buddy, I couldn't back up quick enough, man, but I didn't want to back up too quick. And then the guy comes out and gives us a ride to the gas station and gives us gas, and we made it out of there alive.
Man, that's a movie. That is a movie right there.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was just the beginning. I mean, that was the beginning part of the trip.
Oh, man.
It was quite a bit more after that.
Yeah.
There's just another day and a night, right?
Yeah. And we drove all the way home that night after all that, man. Like, we were rock stars. We needed to be making some money, so we had a driver. That's what we needed. But our dumbasses, we wouldn't hire anybody anyways. Even if he gave us more money, we would have just pocketed it and fucking done it anyways.
So, man, let's rewind quite a ways here. What and again, man, I know you well enough. For some of this, I know the answers to. Some of it I don't, but I'm gonna let you tell your story for the listeners that don't. What made you want to be a wrestler? What did you grow up watching it and all that stuff?
Hell no, I didn't watch that fake shit. No, my dad, man. Me and my dad don't get along at all. Like he's never been like a real father figure to me or anything like that, but. Sundays, I'm pretty sure it's Sundays. It was like the boring day. There's no cartoons on or anything. My dad would like take my toys away from me and make me sit down on the floor and watch wrestling, the USWA stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd stay at my friend's house here and there. Like this is like first, second grade, maybe even third grade. Like, I'd stay at my friend's house and they would watch it like if a pay-per-view came on or, I think there was like Saturday morning was like going on back then. So I would, in passing, I would watch a little bit of it and I would hear them talk about it in school and things, but it wasn't anything serious in my life, except my dad just hammering me to like sit down and watch the real shit and make me watch USWA, like the 2 wrestlers like spinning around on the screen at the beginning. And I was like, oh my God, I'd rather watch the church channel. Like,
that's hardcore right there,
man.
Yeah.
that statue spinning is like the Holy Grail.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that I'm older and I look back and watch those things, it's a cool little moment right there. But and I'm glad I'm proud I got to. My dad made me watch that.
Yeah.
Even though back then I didn't understand. But fast forward, I started boxing when I was super young. I was 8 years old when they got me in boxing, and I went all the way through, grade school, middle school, high school, boxing and everything. And I went in the military for boxing. And then I was over in Germany. I was, marching those rucksacks up and down mountains, and I got 20 pounds overweight in my legs for boxing for my weight class. So it screwed up everything on me. I come back home on a leave, and I'd met I met what ended up becoming my first tag team partner. He was one of my high school best friends. He comes in and tells me that he's training to be a wrestler.
All right.
He shows me his little shirt. I was laughing about it because he was never like, he just wasn't like tough in school and things like that. But he was a good athlete, just not, and he loved, he studied it. Like he knew that shoe sizes, like your birthdays, you name a wrestler, and he knew everything about him, So,
and what school was it?
It was Washington High School in Indiana.
No, I mean the wrestling school.
Oh, the wrestling school was HWF. It was that with Mike Samples, Hardcore Wrestling Federation out of Evansville.
Okay.
This is 98. So I ended up going to, so he broke that all to me and told me about him training to be a wrestler. And it just so happened that weekend I set up an MMA fight in Missouri, in St. Louis, Missouri. And it was just supposed to be some little thing that win or lose is give me $500. But if I did win, I get $750. So I was like, yeah, let's go do this shit, So I go down there, and it's a big show. I thought I was signing up for one of those little bitty like hometown shows, Yeah. And I get down there, and Dan Severn is like the main event on the card, and there's a card, and I was like, man, I already gave him a fake name and everything. My name was Ryan Arms on the card. Ryan Arms. That was the fake name I gave him, and. So I get out, I got there like super early. It's like, there's like snow coming down and everything. I get out and I'm looking at the venue poster, and there's Ryan Arms, second match. And I was like, shit, we are in the right place, like, holy shit. So, we drove around and messed around until the doors opened, and we went in. I stayed the whole time, watched the main event. I wanted to see Dan fight. There's a couple of big names on the card, but I can't remember who they are now.
Yeah.
But I stayed and watched Dan's, and then when he got done and was walking back towards the back, he told me not to leave until he talked to me. And I was like, oh, fuck, I knew I should have left. I knew it. I was the only one standing there when he pointed, too, because I was going to be like, oh, I think he's talking to you. But, So I go back there, and I was like, hey, sir, you said you need to talk to me. And he started talking to me in Kearney. And,
oh, my God.
Man, I thought I was having a stroke, man. I was like, shit. What the fuck's he saying? I was like, man, I thought he's English. I thought he spoke, I watched those UFC fights, man. He spoke English, I swear. So I was just like, man, I'm looking at him all weird. And so he asked me if I wrestled, and I was like, oh yeah, I wrestle. And he's like, well, who do you wrestle for? And I told him Washington High School. And he's like, no, who pays you to wrestle? And then everything in my head started going like, son of a bitch, they got paid for that? I was like, man, I got ripped off. They didn't offer me a dime.
Ryan Arms.
Yeah. So he ended up figuring out that I wasn't a worker, but he said that, like, my charisma and my build and things like that. He's like, you should look into professional wrestling. Like, he's like, you walked in here and there's charisma to you. Everybody else is just dry and sitting over here in their own little corners and everything, and you're over there just having the time of your life and like just have this spunk to you. And because I've always been wiry, and and so I was like, man, maybe that's just the universe coming together, like my buddy coming in telling me that he's going to be a wrestler, and then here I am this weekend running into Dan Severns. He thinks I'm a wrestler. I was like, maybe I need to look deeper into this, So I went to that Evansville Coliseum on Wednesday. I got there and I still had my Army bonus from signing, from enlisting. So it was like, $3,000 and we'll train you to be a wrestler. And I watched some of those guys training, and I was like, man, I can definitely do better than these fuckers. So I was like, man, where do I sign up? So, I wrote them a $3,000 check.
Yeah.
They trained me 3 days, I think it was. I think it was 3 days. And it was either 2 or 3 days. It definitely wasn't more than 3. Yeah. And that third day, there was like, hey, we had somebody no-show. we need you on the show, this and that. So I'm like, man, I ain't got no gear or anything. They're like, oh, we'll come up with some gear for you. Don't worry about that. And so I get downstairs and they named me Glacius. So my name is Glacius on the card. And I'm wrestling this chick. Huh?
Julio?
I swear. Yeah, Julio Iglesias. And I'm wrestling this chick named Tracy Smothers. And her name's circled. And man, I'm so fucking mad, dude. Her name's circled. I was so mad, dude. I come back in that little stall that they had me changing in, and my buddy's down there with me, the one that got me signed up for it all. And he's like, well, what's wrong with you? I was like, man, I think they're trying to get me to quit. I was like, they got me wrestling a chick. And he's like, what? So he goes out there and looks at the card, and he comes to the back, and he's like, he's got a shit-eating grin on his face. He's like, dude, just shut the fuck up. And sits down. And I was like, man, he's got an attitude. I don't even know if I'm going to ride with him next week. I was like, talking to me like that. So whenever, so when Smothers come in like a little bit later, man, I don't know, somebody smartened him up, man. I'm pretty sure he never told me, but man, he comes over and grabs my hand. He's got that hard hand squeeze, and I was like a little kid at the time. You know, I'm only like 180 pounds. Yeah. He's got this hand squeeze on me, and he's like, Tracy Smothers. He's like, I'm sitting down. He's like standing up, like staring over me. He just keeps staring at me as he's shaking my hand. And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm from a little town, man. Everybody named every girl's named Tracy. There was no men that they named Tracy. You know, so I was like, shit. Yeah. So yeah, he's going over the match with me and stuff, asking me if I knew what he's talking about. I'm like, no, I ain't got a clue what you're saying. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. We'll go over it 100 more times. And we didn't go over it one more time. So like, cause we was on second, you know, so he comes out, he's like, you got it. And I was like, no, you didn't say anything to me. Like, you said we was going to go over it again. He's like, yeah, we ran out of time. So just listen to me out there. Just listen to me. So we get up there and we lock up, and I was so nervous. I locked up amateur style, like right-handed style. Oh, shit. And oh my God, through his teeth, he said, you don't know how to lock up? But I heard, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the fuck did he say? God. Man, he punched me square in the nose. And my knees buckled for the first time in years. Like, my knees buckled, and I was like, holy shit, fuck this fake shit, man. Like, fuck. He grabbed me by the seat of my pants and the back of my, they gave me a mask, so I was like wearing a mask. Yeah. He grabbed me by the back of that mask and threw me over the top rope, and I didn't even know how to lock up right. So you know damn good and well I don't know how to go over the top rope. Dude, you remember the old lawn darts back in the day?
Yeah.
Yep, that was fucking me, and I'm not a cat. I fucking head first, like Superman, straight to that fucking hardwood floor. Man, I bounced. I was like, man, this is like the worst day of my life. I'm like, dude, fuck this, man. I'd rather take my dad's ass whipping all day long than fucking do this shit anymore. You know, he like gets me up. He's like, do you know how to dive? And I was like, yeah, I know how to dive. And he's like, all right, fake one, give one. I was like, what did he say? So I get in the ring. I was like, man, he said dive. So I run and hit the ropes and jumped over the top just like I just had done, got thrown over the top. Man, he ducks down and I land on his back. And he comes up, he's like, you stupid motherfucker. And I was like, oh my God, what'd I do now? You know, it just kept getting worse, man. He punches me square in the face. He's like, you know what a fucking finish is? And I was like, yeah, I know what that is. And he like rolls me in, and he grabs me, like has my knees like in my forehead. He's yelling at the referee, I dare you count three. I dare you count three. Yeah. So I got downstairs, man, and he is just yelling at me, just eating me up and down, chewing my ass in front of everybody. And he's like, how long you been in the business, you piece of shit? And I was like, 2 days, sir. He's like, what'd you say? And I was like, 2 days. I think he thought I was going to say, like, you know, a couple weeks, couple months. He's like, you only been in the business two days? And I was like, well, yeah, last week and this week. And, you know, and he's like, who the fuck put you in the ring? So I pointed at Mike Sables. So then he goes over there to Mike Sables, and they're going at it. Like, I mean, they're like in each other's faces yelling. Then he come over to me. He's like, you got to change your clothes. And I did because they gave me this shit to wear. So I was like, yeah, I got to change clothes. So he's like, all right. He's like, get in with me. I'm going to show you how to wrestle. I thought we were like going down the street because I heard you guys wrestled like 7 days a week back then. So I was like, I'm probably just going to go down the street and he'll bring me back to my car tomorrow or whatever. Dude, I ain't come home for 8 months, man. He took me on the road for 8 months. One change of clothes. Like, man, I was like a homeless slob for 8 months, man. Fucking, I went AWOL from the military because I didn't make my fucking, my flight back to Germany because he wouldn't take me back to my car. So when I get home, my mom's like, man, we thought you got kidnapped. I'm like, I kind of did. There's wanted posters of me out, like
milk cartons.
milk jugs, my face on them. Oh, Glacius over there on the milk jug carton.
Yeah, with the mask on.
Yeah, with the mask on. Have you seen Julio?
Yeah. Man, that's great, man. And you know, the funniest thing is I can see every bit of that happening as you're saying it, man. But the one thing I felt, dude, people don't understand. Well, you know, it's not all called in the ring anymore, but that was the most nerve-wracking thing to get used to at first, was how the veterans would call shit to you in that grumbly fucking kayfabe voice, man.
Yes.
You think you heard right, but you ain't sure as you're running into the ropes, you know?
Yeah, just a big question mark over your head as you're hitting the ropes.
Exactly.
You got a step and a half to figure it out. That's all you got, a step and a half.
Yeah, and it might even take, you know, hitting the ropes, turn around, kind of seeing what their body posture is.
Yeah.
Do I got this right?
Yeah, and that's if you're a trained professional. I was a homeless kid off the streets, man. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
So tell me about, you mentioned the Army and stuff, and how did that transpire as far as like in the timeline of wrestling and stuff? So you joined the Army straight out of high school, or how did that go?
Yeah. I'd already enlisted because I was like, man, I really don't want to go to college, man. Mm-hmm. And then so I enlisted, and I was doing so good at boxing, and afterwards, like, you know, after all that's done, there's nothing for you, you know, like after school's out and all that stuff. So I went ahead and enlisted for the Army in boxing because the Olympics was coming up, and you can't have a real job and train for the Olympics, but you can be in the military, and they'll pay you to train for the Olympics. Yeah. So it just all kind of made sense if I wanted to keep going that route. To everything was just, you know, like maybe I do need to go in the military. I ain't got anything else going for me right now, and you know, I want to be a pro boxer. I want to get my pro card, and you know, getting seated in the Olympics is a great way to get that pro card. You know, there's so, you know, because I didn't live in that New Jersey area or anything like that, so it was a little bit harder for me being in that little cornbread fed area, you know, to get to know the right people. It's all who you know. That's all it is. Yeah. And I really didn't know the right people. And my trainer was from Hawaii. He barely spoke fucking English, so he didn't know anybody, you know? But he was, I mean, I was trained right. Like, you know, after making it in the military and meeting all those guys from around the country and everything, like, you know, I had a good trainer. I didn't even know how good of a trainer I had until I got there. And it seemed like 95% of them didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So I was already on the upbeat of the path. It was just, whenever we had to go out and do our training and, you know, we'd run missions and things like that, just carrying, you know, a 75-pound rucksack up mountains and things like that. Yeah. You can't help it. You're just going to gain weight, you know, and that, because you're just eating high protein all the time. You're not eating much, but you're just eating high protein to keep your, you know, it's a strong diet. They want you to gain weight so you can survive without eating, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You just said screw it.
Yeah, well, no, you can't say screw it. They'll come get you. So I ended up having to go in and talk to them. And, you know, I had a couple of them like, you'll never be Hulk Hogan. You know, they're like really, you know, frowning down upon me. I was like, I don't want to be Hulk Hogan. Like, we already got one of him.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be Glacius.
So, yeah. But by that time I changed my name. I was Chase Bradley at that point in time.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So, Yeah, I mean, it ain't like I went right in. I mean, I ran for the longest because I was like, man, I'm going to jail. Like, you know, they had wanted posters all over. Like, they go to wrestling shows with my face on these posters. And that's if I was there.
Serious?
I swear, Vic the Bruiser called, and we had called. We was running late. We pulled over and used a payphone, and Vic had left Tracy a voicemail on his house phone. And Tracy called and checked the voicemail on his answer machine or whatever, and it said like, "Hey, if you still got Chase with you, like, you know, there's people here with dogs and everything. They're looking for him. Like, they got a picture with his face on it that he's wanted." So then Tracy gets in the car and starts asking me about it. And I was like, I told you I had to make that flight. So,
man, they're gonna get me for kidnapping, Chase.
Oh yeah. he was smooth a little bit and drink, on down the road. And man, it always popped back in his head. He'd be like, "Hey, did my name ever get brought up and all that shit? They ever say my name?" Like, that's probably where they got me that time. That's probably where they got me, Chase.
That's it. God bless him.
Yeah, I know. I love Tracy. I miss him.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Jimmy across the street, join the conversation.
So, okay, there's all these classic wrestlers you've always heard. I think they even said it about Roddy Piper. And these two words come up all the time. And we hear about them, and I don't think the average listener even knows what it means. Can you explain what Golden Gloves means as far as like...
Oh, it's like the semi-pro of boxing. So you got like amateur bouts, and then you got then you got Golden Gloves of boxing. So you travel, and you got to be in your top rankings of your weight class of your state. Yeah. And then the states, then you start traveling to other states. It just and there's like a little territories. Same as wrestling. Like there's little territories. And then once you like, we had like the tri-state right there. So once you beat those guys in your weight class, those top ranked guys, then you move on to like, you can go all the way up to the very top of it. So, okay. Yeah. I had boxed, since I was 8, like I said. So, once I got 16, I think I won the whole thing in Indianapolis. And then 17, I won it again. So at the 142 and 152 weight class.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you're fighting some real dudes right in that class, man. Those are the guys that are.
Yeah, but and now I stand before you, 245 pounds, like I don't even, I was like, I weighed about as much as one of my legs do right now back then.
Yeah. So, that's amazing. So let me ask you a question. When did you end up meeting Cassidy Riley?
Well, I was at Smother's house, and he got mad at me and left me. So he didn't take me on the road, man. So I'm there on a Saturday, and I got up early, and we didn't have very many channels. Like, it ain't like it was like hooked up to cable or anything at his house. I mean, he had a beautiful house with just no furniture. And I've been on the road this whole time. So I had a house. It all got fucking taken away from me. So I had all this furniture. So it all just made sense. Like, hey, move your furniture in my house, this and that. So that's what we did. And so, I had all these VHS tapes and everything. So I get up, and as I turn on the TV, like, Burt Prentice's wrestling shows, like, it's real staticky, but it's on. And I was like, what the fuck's this? So I watch it, and then when Smothers got home that Sunday, I was telling him about USA Championship Wrestling downtown, or it's called something else back then, Music City.
Yeah.
And I was telling him about that, and he was like, no, you will never work for that faggot. Like, yeah, man, he was mad back in the day, man. Like he wasn't about any of that stuff, Yeah. And so, I was like, man, Lawler's on there, Brian Christopher, the Cat. I was like, there's some big names like going into that. The Hardy Boys, like, I was like, hell, Wolfie is even on it, like on the advertisements and everything. I was like, man, like, they're all working for him. Like, what, how bad can it be? And like I said, I'm from a little town. I don't know much, Right. So I got down there. I just went ahead and went. I was like, man, if he ain't got me booked next Saturday, which he probably doesn't, since he left me this Saturday, I was like, I'm gonna go hit it up down there. So, you know, there's no GPSs. Me trying to navigate I'd never been downtown Nashville at that point in time. So I figured it out. I got there, but I was on empty on gas again. Here we are, you know, and I was like, man, there ain't no getting home. I was like, so I got to figure this out. Like, I have got to get on the show, like, you know, somehow. So I get in there, and Sarah Lee, the door lady, will not. This is like 2 p.m. She will not let me in the door. She's like, it's $8. I'm like, no. I'm trying to get on the show. And she's like, yeah, well, the only way you can get on the show is by paying $8 to get through the door. And I was like, I don't have $8. You know, so she gives me like yeah, she didn't, man. She didn't know who I was, and she didn't give a shit who I was.
Right.
And she gives me a styrofoam cup. And I was like, what do you want me to do with that? She's like, go out there and come up with $8. And I was like, man, she wanted me to go out and panhandle, you know? So like, so I went out there and I looked around. I mean, I walked around a little bit and I was like looking. And I was like, man, there ain't nobody out here. Like, it'll take me a week to come up with $8. Like, I was like, man, screw this shit, dude. So I went walking back in, and that's when Byrd seen me, and he was like, hey, get over here. So I was like, see, told you. I didn't know who Byrd was. I had no idea that was Byrd. I was just like, somebody finally. I got to come up with this $8, you know. So I get over there and like, he's like introducing himself and telling me like who he is and everything. And you know, I told him I was Chase Bradley. And right off the bat, he's like, I don't like it. And I was like, well, fuck, I don't really care what you don't like, you know? And he's like, we're gonna call you Chase Stevens. And I was like, oh man, that doesn't have a ring to it at all. Sounds kind of gay. And and he was like, sweetheart, I am gay. And I was like, well, shit, I totally ain't coming out to it now. Like, you know. So we're in a full-on like argument about this, you know, and we're going back and forth over this Chase Stevens, Chase Bradley, you know, this little last name deal, you know, but I really do need $8, you know, to get back. Well, I don't need 8. I need like 10, 15 to fill up the tank and get back home. Yeah. And I couldn't even remember what town I lived in. Like I was trying to ask people. I was like, man, it starts with an S, and man, they were giving me all kinds of different names. Nobody's giving me Springfield, Tennessee. You know, that's what I needed. I was like, man, I don't know. That doesn't sound like it. That doesn't sound like the one I'm looking for. They're like Shelbyville. I'm like, no.
Smyrna?
Maybe. Yeah, Smyrna. I was like, I don't think that's yeah, dude, they were coming up. I was like, it's kind of far. Yeah. So anyways, as that goes on, I get inside. They tell me get in the locker room, and then when there's Babyface heel locker room, so you didn't see each other and you didn't talk to each other. Yeah. And there wasn't like not very many people had cell phones back then. It was like still like, you know, it was super expensive if you even had one. Right. So nobody really talked. You called it in the ring pretty much. Well, I'm on the Babyface side, and when the card comes back there, it didn't have no Chase anything on it. It was just you know, matches, and I was like, well, shit. Maybe I didn't get on this one, you know, maybe I shouldn't argue this much, you know, whatever. So Byrd invites me out, like, during intermission. He's like, hey, we got a newcomer here, you know, let's welcome him in, this and that. And he's like, you know, now introducing Chase Stevens or whatever. And they're like, hey, that's you. I was like, no, I'm Chase Bradley. Like, as soon as he gets the name right, I'll go out there, you know. So, dude, he re-announces me like 3 times. They keep giving me an applaud, and I don't keep going through I don't go through the curtain. I'm like, nah, man. So everyone's like, I'm already labeled as a prima donna now because I won't go out during my name. Yeah. so they made me feel bad in the back. So finally I walk through there. I get in the ring, and he's asking me, you know, he's giving me an interview. He's like asking me questions. I've never been interviewed at this point in time. He's got that great big Coleman studio camera like set up. Yeah. I've never seen anything like that where this guy's like sitting behind it, like videotaping, you know, and he's got this great big red light. I was like, shit, dude, this is way bigger than I thought it was, you know? So as this is going on, I get pushed from behind, like a shoot shove. And like I turn around, and this guy's like looking at me. He's got a wide eye in. He's looking at me. He's like, I've been here 3 years. I've never had my own personal time on TV. Why do you? And I was like, fuck, I don't know. I didn't want to come out here, you know? So Bert like pulls the microphone down. He's like, Bert, hit him. And I was like, man, this is a shoot. Like, well, fucking, do I knock this dude out? Like, what the fuck? So I gave him a work punch, and he sells it. And I was like, okay, I must be on beat. So I work punch again. He extends his arm. I grab onto it. He shoots himself off and then reverses me. And he's like, duck one, flying crossbody. So I ducked one, crossbody. Referee comes sliding in the ring, 1, 2, 3. I was like, I'm in jeans and everything else, like, Bert's like, get out of the ring. So I got out of the ring. He's like, oh my God, he just pinned Rick Michaels in less than 30 seconds. We got a new heavyweight champion, blah, blah, blah.
God.
Yeah. So I get the heavyweight title. I'm definitely Chase Stevens now. There ain't no arguing about that shit. So, then the next week I come back, and the first person in the locker room, I was there first, and then the door opens. I look over, and Cassie Riley comes walking in. He shakes my hand. He's like, Cassie Riley. I was like, Chase Stevens. He's like, yeah, I'm your new tag team partner. And I was like, what? I was like, I got a tag team partner. And he's like, well, you ain't got one anymore. Like, we're going to be called the Hot Shots, and this and that. And I was like, whoa, hold the fuck on. Like, so now I'm in argument mode again. I got to go find Bert. Not going to be called a hot shot, like, I don't know who this Cassie guy is. Like, I'm not just tagging with random people. You can't whore me out like that, so yeah, it was everything's like a shoot back then, though. It really was like, it's different. You didn't get to pick who you wanted to be, and, you didn't get to, you didn't get to enjoy it like these video game players today, man. They get to pick, whatever they want to be, and I read it all the time. Social media, dude, I could scroll right now. Somebody be like, hey, when I start in a week and a half, this is gonna be my finishing move. Like, what? The fuck's that even mean?
You know what the trend that happens a lot lately that I really don't like is this, where they say they're paying homage to somebody's match and they do all of the sequence of moves that they did 20 years ago or something. I hate that. Man.
Yep.
I can't stand that. I understand if you appreciate the match, but to say that's what you're doing, do it move for move, just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, if that guy trained you or something, I would totally understand. Like, I would more understand, I guess. Like, if you want to use like his finishing move in the match or something, because he trained you, not because you watched it when you was 10 years old and that's the one that you remember. Like, what the fuck? That's the marking shit I've ever heard in my life.
It's there. Yeah. What happened with TNA? How'd you get there? That's got to be about the next step.
Yeah,
man, that was another one where Cassidy, they introduced me to Cassidy, and it wasn't too long after that. We had done a few matches together, and Bert had us like really kind of traveling. Like, he was running 3, maybe 4 shows a week. And we was on all 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And Cassidy was driving back and forth from Louisiana too. So, and then they told me, Cassidy already knew, but they told me that Jeff and Jerry was about to start something, and they were going to start coming to the shows and looking at talent. Mm-hmm. So then I started working out like super hard and tanning and all this other stuff, like really pushing, because I was like, man, maybe, who knows? So we got out there, and it was at the fairgrounds the first time they had come, and we worked. It was me and Cassidy against Mike Rapata and Big Bully Douglas. Uh-huh. And Mike Rapata was like, listen, like, I'll call all this. He's like, because he's like, Jerry helped train me. He's like, and I know what Jerry's looking for. He didn't want those flips. He didn't want this. He doesn't want that. He's like, he wants a good tag team, like, double hip tosses and, double drop kicks, like Rock and Roll Express type stuff, and it made sense to me, it all made sense. Like, at that point in time, we was like mid card. Yeah. So, man, we go out there and it's a decent little match, just a little basic tag team match, nothing like spectacular. Right. And then right after us is AJ Styles and David Young. And AJ goes out there and does every fucking flip in the book. And Jerry gets up out of his little fucking seat up top and comes downstairs and signs him right there. He's like, man, I ain't ever seen a match like that. That was amazing. And I was like, you motherfucker. Then the main event was Harrison Storm And then they signed them as a tag team that night afterwards. And then they called us like 2 days later and asked us they sent us our contracts in the mail for our tag team as well. But the thing is they signed us as the Hot Shots, thank God. Yeah. But when we got there, our first day, so I went down to the Huntsville one, the first one that they ran. They didn't use me on that one. They paid me to be there, but they just didn't have time to put it all together the way they wanted to. Right. So I just got paid to be down there. And then the first one that they ran in Nashville, 3 weeks later, I come in, me and Cassidy, and first person is Vince Russo, and he's like, we introduced ourselves. Like, Cassidy already knew him, but I introduced myself. He's like, yeah, what they got you guys tagged as? And we're like, Hot Shot. He's like, oh, yeah. Listen, bro, listen, I got something even better. We're going to call you guys the Hot Dogs, Oscar and Frank.
What?
And I was like, yeah, I swear to God, dude, my face, it was, I can't even imagine. Vince Russo.
Oh, God.
So he's going to be called the Hot Dogs, Oscar and Frank. And Cassidy's got this big shit-eating grin on his face this whole time, man, and just shaking his hand and saying, oh, I love it, and this and that. And I was going, man, I had this fucking disappointing look on my face. I was like I'm ready to just punch him right in the face, and he's got this water bottle in his hand. He keeps putting it down like where his dick's at. He's like, we're gonna give you guys these big dicks, and we're gonna have women chase you guys, call you guys the Hot Dogs, and this and that. And as soon as he walks off, like, I look at Cassidy and I was like, I'm not going to be called Oscar or Frank. I don't give a fuck which one you want to be. And Cassie's like, you're going to do whatever you got to do. Stay on, like, get on this TV show. And I was like, I made it this far and I didn't have to do any of that shit. I was like, I bet I can make it a little bit farther. Like, we were in a total disagreement on this, right? So I just went behind everybody's back. I went over to Jerry Jarrett and I was like, hey, can I talk to you? He's like sitting down, like watching the little monitor. He's like spitting in a cup. Yeah. He's like, what? And I was like, listen, I just met Vince Russo. He like spits in his cup. And he's like, I don't like him. And I was like, good. I don't like him either. I was like, we're already 1 for 1 on this one. Like, we're good. Yeah. So I told him like the whole story of what just like I just told you guys. And man, he's laughing. And he's like, what do we sign you guys as? And I was like, the Hot Shots. He's like, oh yeah. I like the Hot Shots better. He's like, I don't like that hot dog shit. He's like, but I like those fake dicks. He's like, man, we need to get you those fake dicks. And I was like, son of a bitch, man. Like, I talk too much. I should just shut the fuck up. So they got us these fucking strap-ons, right?
Oh my God!
I swear we had these strap-ons, and we had black tights, so you couldn't see them. So we had to get these neon color tights made. So it took like a couple weeks to get them in so you could see like everything. So Cassie has trunks, so it just looks like he's got a big cup on, you know what I mean? Like he can't really see his, and mine's like off to the side. I got bikers on, like these orange bikers. Yeah. So our little deal on the mic was we're pricks, we're proud and protruding, and we grab our crotches. And so I was like, man, I'm gonna get this dick shit over, man. I squirted mine. I outlined mine with a water bottle right before we went out, and I'm
gonna get this dick shit over. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, man, I mean, we already got it, so might as well fucking go for the gold. You know,
that's just the sentence of the show.
See if I can get these girls to fucking check me out afterwards. That's what they was talking about. So I was fucking going for it. We're working at Harrison Storm as America's Most Wanted, and Harris had that stalling suplex. He'd walk you around the ring. Yeah. So I was like, hey, hit me with that suplex, like right off the bat. I was like, that way, maybe people fucking see this dick shit we got going on here.
Maybe people can see this dick.
Yeah. So he's got me up in the air, and he's like, he's walking me, and the crowd gets super quiet. And all of a sudden, one guy in the crowd goes, "He's got a boner." And you can hear everybody start coming together, like whispering this shit. I'm like right there in Harris's ear. I was like, put me down. And he's like, nope. He starts walking me around again. I was like, oh, this motherfucker, man. So I start throwing my legs like left and right, back and forth. I'm trying my damnedest to get down. And everybody starts coming together. He's got a boner. Man, We had like fucking 900 people chanting, "He's got a boner," fucking live on pay-per-view. I swear to God, dude. When he finally put me down, I was like, man, I just laid there. I was like, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers.
That's hilarious. I can't believe I never knew that, man.
I don't tell too many people that, man. And then here I am. I tell all. I know. I just told all your fans. Like, shit.
That is fucking funny, man.
Man, I don't even know where to go after that. I mean, I swear. I mean, I've got a ton of questions. Okay, so Jesus, that's an amazing story. Okay, so the Naturals, man. We're leading into the Naturals because I mean, you were actually like, obviously, you're a great singles wrestler. I've always enjoyed your work as a singles guy. But I mean, honestly, man, my favorite type of wrestling is tag team wrestling. And honestly, you always had some great partners. Obviously, Cassidy. Then you go into working with Andy Douglas, man. How did the Naturals come about?
So what happened there was
you dropped the dick shit and then it became the Naturals. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. As soon as that dick shit was over, man, you can't have a boner on pay-per-view these days, evidently.
Flash Funk is ruined. Anyway.
No, when our contracts come up, there was a dispute with Cassidy wanting to be flown in from Louisiana instead of driving all that way. You know, he was over 8 hours away, and it was just money. Money was like tight with TNA at the time, and they wanted to go a different route that way. And there was no heat there. They just want to get their money built up before they start flying in the lesser talented people, evidently. So they took us off. I resigned. I resigned. We got a little bit of heat. We went to WWE. We did some WWE. We did like Monday and Tuesday. So we did Raw and SmackDown, and then we come back to the Wednesday pay-per-views and end up signing is what ended up happening. Mm-hmm. And then, so we did like, I think 4 shows with them after that. And there's like a little bit of heat because we did that Raw and SmackDown. No. So, and I was like right here in town, like in the Nashville area. So they wasn't going to like let me go, you know? Yeah. So, I ended up re-signing, Kathy, they sent him home. And then they called me and brought me in and introduced me to Andy, mm-hmm. and told me that we needed to come up with a tag team name. And Andy needed to gain 30 pounds in 30 days because they'd like to use us on pay-per-view. Jesus. And, man, I throw my hands in the air. I was like, this motherfucker ain't gained 30 pounds his whole life. I was like, we ain't ever making a TV. I was like, shit. Because I didn't know him at all, you know. And Terry Taylor's like, hey, not telling you to do anything illegal, but if you can gain 30 pounds in 30 days, we'd like to put you guys on TV, you know. And I was like, we're fucked. We're fucked.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. So, but Andy did, man. Andy come back in 30 days looking like a freaking pit bull. And I'm over there going, hey, what the fuck are you on? Like, now I look like the fucking, you know, the fucking melted candle, you know, over here. So they and in between that, they wanted us to like get to know each other. So Bob Ryder was like, hey, I got a fishing boat down in Louisiana. I want you guys to go down there and get to know each other. And I was like, yeah, fuck them, what? I was like, yeah, let's do this shit, you know? So they paid for us to like get to know each other. Wow. So they drove us down to New Orleans. This was before Katrina come through, like maybe like a year before that, 2 years maybe. I don't fucking know. I ain't good with my years, but but anyways, we go down there, and on the way down, we got Lord Humongous with us because they wanted to use him. Mm-hmm. Down the road. This is like the new school one. Ryan Wilson was his name. Yeah. And he was just this great big jack dude, man. He you know, green is grass.
I saw him not too long ago.
He doesn't live too far from you.
Yeah, he was at WWE house show.
Oh, was he?
Just attending or whatever.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He just, you know, he lost his weight and he's healthy now and doing good, evidently, like, from what I hear. So, anyways, backtrack. He's with us, so it's me, Andy, and him. And we stop off and eat a few times, and like everybody keeps coming up getting our autographs, and we ain't fucking been on TV yet. And we are like, it's taking like an extra 30, 35, 40 minutes to sign all these autographs, and they're going, man, these guys are stars already. Like, they ain't even ever been on TV, but everybody thinks they're fucking stars. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna run with this shit, dude. I'm gonna tell everybody, fucking, I'm already on TV. Fuck this shit. I was like, these people don't even watch TV. They ain't got a fucking clue. Nobody watches this shit. So And nobody's watching TNA at that point in time either. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what their buy rates was, but it was super low, like 1,500 people or something was watching those pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So, but it got us over, you know? So when we got back, they all talked about it in the office and all that stuff. You know, they started really like giving us, you know, they had confidence in us to build us to be stars. And they brought us in and put us over Harrison Storm, like pretty much right off the bat, and gave us the world tag titles. And, you know, I thought it was stupid. I had an argument. That was one of those Vince Russo fucking deals. Like, bring them in. Let's make them stars. You know, they win the titles in 30 seconds. I was like, no, why don't we build our way to the top and let these people fucking believe in us?
Yeah.
You know, but whatever. So we went the heel route and just become fucking heels. And, you know, then got that, you know, then we just go out and party and fucking everything else afterwards. So we got known as that, you know, like the fun time tag team.
Yeah. So, let me ask you this, man. And because I know from experience that I've shot myself in the foot 2 or 3 major times. It probably, you know, cost me a difference in life, I'll say, or a different path longer in the wrestling business, that type of thing. Do you think you've done that to yourself? Would you say why, like the big contract has never come?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was sitting there. It was in front of me.
I wouldn't say that if I hadn't experienced the same shit myself. You know, people say, would you change stuff? Fuck yeah, there's a lot of decisions that I made that I wish I wouldn't have, you know? But yeah. Talent-wise, man, I feel that there's no reason why you shouldn't have been picked up a long time ago. I think that, you know, both of us kind of mirror that comment, you know?
Yeah. I definitely shot myself in the foot.
Did Andy's MySpace have anything to do with any of that sometimes?
Man, that was one of them. That was one of them. That was one where he went off the radar for 3 days. I couldn't get a hold of him. And I was like, oh my God, they just said don't tell anybody. This is back in the day when they didn't understand social media. Right, and he just, you know, he went out and got drunk and it was just like, just blogged it all. Like, you know, fuck TNA. We're moving on to USA, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, he didn't say WWE, but he named the damn channel. Right. And I was like, oh my God. I woke up to like the most emails I've ever had in my life. And it wasn't spam. It was like fucking real emails. Right. And I was like, well, fuck, they must have already announced this or something. They told us not to tell anybody. And then once I started reading the dirt sheets and it was all that blog, you know, posted from Andy, I was like, oh no. And he had just moved. I didn't know his address. I didn't know how to go get him. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We got told when those contracts come in the mail, just avoid those ones. Those ones don't count anymore.
Oh, I
was like, fuck.
Damn.
Yeah, that was one of my voicemails.
Golly. Who was the voicemail? Who said the voicemail, if you don't mind saying?
It was that chick that was in the office for WWE.
Okay, gotcha. Do you have any? Now I know, you know, we kind of take it, you know, peaks and valleys on the show, man. You're an amazing storyteller. You're the easiest show we've ever had, to be honest, man.
Well, but, sweet.
Yeah. So tell me, I know you've got some good Chris Candido stories. Obviously, you were there. Such a tragedy, losing one of the most loved wrestlers ever, basically. And, you know, Chris Candido was a part of your team there. Can you talk a little bit about Chris?
Yeah. Dusty's the one who introduced Chris to us. Like, I'd never like got to personally meet him. You know, Smothers always put him over and always talked highly of him, but anytime that Chris was around, I wasn't on that show, and it was vice versa on everything, you know, so I was missing him, you know, just in passing, like, you know, over the years. And I really hadn't been in all that long at that point in time, you know, like, what was that? 03, 04, something like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I started in 98. So it ain't like I was like a fully big time seasoned vet at that point in time. And Dusty Rhodes come in to be the booker, and, you know, he really loved, Chris, and Chris had got his shit together at that point in time. And he told me and Andy he had somebody for us that was going to, you know,
how did he say
spike us all the way to the top, pretty much, you know.
How did Dusty say it, if you don't mind me asking? Let me hear.
I got somebody for you, baby. So, he didn't talk with the list, right? Like outside of like if you got him in the car or whatever, and he trusted in you. Yeah, God, he's such a worker, dude.
Yeah, one of the legends,
best.
Man, for sure.
Yes,
yeah.
Fuck. So he introduced Candido to us, and it was such a short-lived stint, but it was like, I mean, we really skyrocketed to the top. Yeah. And then that pay-per-view with the leg break. And Chris just like the first time that we went out with Chris, like we didn't call anything. Like me and Nadine never really like debate. We let the baby faces call things and get their little spots in and things like that. And that way we knew our timing, where we needed to be on certain things, but we wouldn't fill in the blanks with stuff. We wouldn't come back with like, oh, well, we do this and we do that. And we would just feed off each other. And, so when Chris was like, what guys want me to do? And I was like, well, if I look over at you and give you a niggy, fucking grab the leg, if he's there and fucking, they'll just be a manager. I was like, he's like, that's all you want me to do? I was like, yeah, I just want you to be just a regular. I was like, we're the Naturals. Like we just do it. Like we don't have to call it. We don't have to fucking memorize all this shit. Yeah. So he's like, dude, this is awesome. So we go out there and I call Iggy on him, and he doesn't grab it on the first deal. And I was like, oh my God, on the trip deal. Right. So, we get in the back afterwards, and I covered it, like, we get in the back, and he comes over, like, I totally forgot by the time we got done with everything. He comes over and he's really ate up over it. He's like, I am so sorry. He's like, I was so invested in that match. He's like, there was actual heels and there was a fucking baby face and the crowd fucking was eating you guys alive. He's like, and I fucking totally forgot I was even in the match. He's like, I thought I was a fucking fan watching the match again. He's like, I missed the fucking Iggy spot. Yeah. And I was like, man, that's cool, man. I was like, it's cool, man. I was like, fucking the fact that you fucking, was having that moment, I was like, it makes me proud, So,
because y'all were from that so time forward at that time, man. I mean, seriously, y'all were on a different level at that point, right there.
Yeah, I felt it, man. Like the energy, like was so good, and just come crashing down, like in just a few days. That pay-per-view. He got his ankle broke. Monday was when we set up the surgery for him, and then Tuesday we had to be back at TV, and they wouldn't. And it was, at that point in time, it was just weird on changing things. I don't know why they can't adapt and overcome. Like if it's written, it's like the 10 Commandments. You know what I mean? It's in stone. Sure. Like, and I'm like, and if somebody can't make their flight or something, I mean, they literally freak out. Like the world's come to an end. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, just change it a little bit. Like, just change things. And so he's got a broken leg, and they can't figure out. Like, maybe we shouldn't do the fucking title change right now or anything like that. Maybe we should wait a little bit and see how this goes. He did just have surgery the day before. Yeah. It ain't even been 48 hours yet.
Yeah.
And so they wanted him to flip the pile, get in the ring and flip the pile for us winning, and which all made sense. But now we got this issue, and we couldn't get his wheelchair up the back of the ramp. It just would. We could totally go down the front side of the ramp where the camera catches you. We just couldn't get it. We couldn't get it in the little walkway in the back. They had like weird like metal piping like coming out.
Yeah. That
did nothing. There was no reason for it to be there.
Yeah.
But we couldn't get the chair to go up. So it was like, hey, do you mind standing and using crutches to go down there, and then we'll put you in a chair. I'm like, why don't we just go out the hard camera side through that little crowd that we have right there and just clear the path and let's go through that. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted us on that ramp for that shot.
Yeah.
So, so Chris being the guy that he is, he's like, yeah, that's fine. But he was supposed to keep his head or his foot elevated above his heart.
Yeah.
For, I think it was 72 hours. I can't remember how it all was supposed. I can't remember exactly what the doctor had said and all that stuff, but then, we got in there, flipped the pile, and we took it home 11 minutes early. So 11 minutes on TV is a long fucking time.
Right.
And what the rest earpiece had went down. We got extra time put added onto us because somebody went short, and then the rest earpiece went down. He thought he saw Terry Taylor with his arms crossed in the back, which meant if your earpiece goes down, like that's the ticket home.
Right.
So he calls the go home, and we did it. I mean, we did exactly what was said to do. Then Mike Tenay comes over and is like, hey, we still got 11 live minutes on the air. So Candido gets that time on the microphone right there to cover. And he just, cuts his impromptu promo, and fucking, it's a great promo. And like, I'm still selling because it was a fluke win, and this and that. So I'm pulling on Mike Tenay's leg the whole time. I have no idea what the fuck's going on, by the way, because we wasn't told to cut a promo or anything. So he's going, how do you feel about it, Chase? And I'm like looking in the camera all cross-eyed and everything. I'm like, who won? Who won the fight?
Yeah,
exactly. So we get in the back, man, and Jeff is just, he's pretty fucking pissed. Man. He's got his headset off, he's yelling and this and that. And I didn't know what was going on. And the rest took the blame for it, sending us home early. And so, all he was off us. But starting out, like coming through there, just getting yelled at. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. And then, after that, like we flew home. We had another taping. We had a pre-tape the next day. And then we flew home Thursday, I guess it was. And then I heard about him over the weekend, passing of the blood clot. And I had to read it on the internet, man. I had people texting me, and nobody ever called and told me about it. So, that was one of those things where I was like, man, you motherfuckers, like, that should have been, family first. But I mean, in the wrestling world, like, we should have got that phone call from the office, and we still, to this day, still have it.
Right. Yeah. It's messed up. Messed up.
Man, kind of going Broadway here. Do you got anything that you want to plug that's coming up? This will drop on Monday, this coming Monday. Do you got anything after that you want to plug real quick?
Man, I ain't even looked at my calendar. I ain't got a fucking clue. Just Google me, bitch. I don't know.
That's a t-shirt, man.
Go with that. What's all your... How can they contact you on social media?
Social media, I got Facebook, Chase Stevens. I don't know. Just look up Chase Stevens. He'll pull me up at some point in time. And then my Instagram's a real Chase Stevens, because there's a fake one out there, probably.
Man, we got to get a part 2 out of you, brother. Seriously. This is,
shoes he's got to fill.
Yeah.
Experiences. Crazy stories. I mean, we could honestly go on forever, as there's plenty of stories that you and I haven't talked about. There's
not even close. We only made the 02.
Yeah, seriously.
I still got another 21 years left of talking to do.
Let me ask you this real quick. This will be a quick one, okay? How good and how underrated is Chris Michaels? Seriously.
Like one of the top 10 most underrated workers of all time.
Yeah.
He's in the top 10.
Yeah.
I can't have a bad match. I have tried to have a bad match with him. He's too fluent, man. He's too good for his own good.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, definitely got to have a part 2. We'll.
I was gonna say, Jimmy and Chase, there. If you said you got 21 more years to talk about. Well, if we can get you on part 2 faster than we got you on part 1, this show might still be around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're here for longevity. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't give it to them all at once.
Yeah.
Got to save a little bit, man. But hey, man, I appreciate you doing this for us, and I'm sure everybody listening's happy that you came on, man. Had some people ask about getting you on here, but as well as I've been trying for quite a while. So
more like, why haven't you had Chase? I think that's what people say.
It's not from lack of him trying. Like it really, it's getting me on the phone is an act of God. Like I had to tell my mom. I had to teach my mom how to text a message so she could talk to me. So.
Well, man, good rest of you. And again, thanks for coming on.
Seriously.
Oh, man, I appreciate it, guys. Everything good?
That was fun, man.
Dude, that was great. Yeah, literally.
Awesome.
Easiest show ever, bro. Seriously.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
See you, man.
Yeah, you guys have a good time. Thank you for everything, man. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Chase.
Dude.
All right, see you guys.
All right, guys, we're back. And again, I'm just so proud of you for sitting through the commercial break. And you made it, because this is going to be a good episode today, as usual. Got somebody that I haven't spoken to in a long time. And he's doing, he used to crack backs in the ring. And now he's cracking backs for a living again as a chiropractor. So this ought to be an interesting conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the Naturals, Andy Douglas. What's going on, Andy?
Not much, brother. It's good talking to you, man. It seems like it's been a lifetime ago.
Oh, man, it's been, I probably haven't seen you since my last days at TNA, which would have been around 2004. So that's 20 years.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
It don't seem like that long ago, honestly. and to think that I had a career before TNA too. That was even longer.
I'm sure you know my story, and I know part of your story, man. It's like a whole decade was kind of a haze. So you just blink and it's like, man, where's that 10 years ago?
And it was gone.
Yeah.
So off the bat, though, I'm curious, man. I want to know, like, what made you, turn to this chiropractic thing?
Man, it was just one of those things. Chase and I saw the light at the end of the tunnel at TNA. Yeah. Each year we renewed our contract. It just got worse and worse and worse. And by the end, we were making no money. I mean, it was insulting. And they took away your independent booking, so you couldn't even do weekend shows on your own, man. So it was just like, they've got nothing for us. We're not doing anything on TV or their pay-per-views. Nobody's really even talking to us at the shows. Brother, I was in, and, hindsight's 2020, but I was in the depths of some pretty deep addiction at that time too. So you think your shit don't stink and you're the best of the best. And I go back and I look at some of that stuff and I'm like, man, no wonder they got rid of us. I look like crap. Here I am supposed to be on my game for a pay-per-view and I've been up for 3 days. What do you expect?
Yeah.
And so they let us go. And then we tried a few dark matches with New York and just nothing ever came out of it. Everybody, every time we would do something, all the boys, all the management, Cornette was there at the time, I think. Everybody loved us, but the one man making the decisions, John Laurinaitis, didn't like us. So karma for that idiot. He got what he deserved.
Right.
So we never got anywhere with that. And, man, and I'm not saying this to crap on anybody in our business or that does anything, but to me, I saw those guys that were in their 50s, 60s, or older in the locker room, and that's all they had. They had no other, they had nothing to fall back on, and they were still showing up to shows with 30 people at an Armory for $20 and a hot dog and a handshake. And I was like, man, I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, I want more for myself. Yeah. And brother, that's the only reason I got into the business. I got into the business, number one, because I loved wrestling. My grandmother got me watching it when I was a kid. Yeah. It was larger than life superstars like Rocky, Rambo, Conan the Barbarian, but it was real life action every week. And so when I saw that as a kid, I was like, man, that's what I want to be.
And
never in my life thought I would have the opportunity.
Kentucky boy, so that means you was raised on Memphis wrestling then, right?
Yeah, all that. Yeah. And then, even Smoky Mountain as I got a little bit older, but and some NWA, all that, man. Yeah. And so, I never thought that would be obtainable. And then it was. And so when I had the opportunity to do it, it wasn't like a hobby. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to, work a 9 to 5 and just do some wrestling on the side. I was like, no, I'm going to do this because I want to be the best at it. I want to rise to the top and I want to make a shitload of money at it. I'm not going to lose everything and, miss birthdays and miss all this other stuff and be on the road 24/7 for chump change, So did I do wrestling? Did I get in the business just for the money? No. But I think it's shady when you hear some of these guys do podcasts. They're like, oh, I just did it for the love of the business. Bullshit. Right. You did it because you wanted to make money. And if you didn't do it
or be famous,
you're an idiot. You don't get a car wreck every weekend if you don't want to make money. Right. So I was just like, when it got to that point, I was like, man, I don't think, and again, this is an ego thing. I was deep in my addiction. I thought I was better than I was. And I was like, man, I can't go back to, fairgrounds and Armory shows in front of 50 people making $40. I was like, I can't do it. And so I did that for a little bit locally around here because I had nothing else. And then it just got to the point where I was like, what can I do? What can I do?
Yeah.
And so I had an undergraduate degree, thank God, because I wanted to drop out of that because I was doing wrestling at the time, just getting in.
Yeah.
But I was around some solid dudes like the Batten twins and Bull Payne and Bo James. And they're like, no, man, you stay in school, get your degree. If this doesn't work out, you got something to fall back on. So thankfully I did that. And it was just like, at the time, man, I had another cousin who was older than me, but had been a chiropractor since the early 80s in a small town and had killed it, just done great.
Yeah.
And so it's just kind of how I fell into it. And just, it just kind of came out of nowhere. We went and toured the campus, and next thing I know, I'm going to school to be a chiropractor. It was crazy.
And that takes, how many years is that?
So you got to have your undergraduate degree, which was 4 years. And then chiropractic college is another 4 years. So here I was like 30, 31, and I was in class with a bunch of these young kids just fresh out of college, man. And yeah, it was rough.
I think I read somewhere that you injured yourself, I guess at the end of TNA there, hurt your neck. Is that a shoot? And did that tie into the chiropractor thing at all?
Yeah, that's a shoot, but it had nothing to do with my choice to be a chiropractor. I
was just thought maybe, you're like, had to end up going to the chiropractor and thought, man, yeah, this thing seems like something I'd do.
No, I had gone, so you're kind of right. I see where you're going. I had gone to the chiropractor since I was like in middle school because I had some weird stiff necks things when I was younger. And then when I played football in middle school and high school, I had several injuries. So yeah, I went to a chiropractor my whole life. But what you're talking about was in Birmingham, Alabama. We were wrestling, what's Hernandez and Homicide, LAX or something like that.
Yeah.
And do you remember Hernandez? Big dude.
Yeah, I worked LAX, yeah.
Yeah, so his finisher, the border toss, is like one of the most dangerous moves in our business. He basically just launches you across the ring, says a prayer, and hope for the best. Well, you're supposed to hit your shoulders, and I just he spiked me on my head.
Oof.
And it was like towards the end of the match. Chase was involved in the finish, but I was supposed to get up and do something. I don't even know what it was. But the momentum of my body rolled me to the floor, and when I went to get up, I couldn't get up. Like I was paralyzed, neck down. And the match continued. They came over, checked on me. They were like, okay, something's not right. Terry Taylor came out. Whoever else was there came out. And like I laid there what seemed like forever. It may have just been like 5-10 minutes. Yeah, I was like legit paralyzed for 5-10, 20 minutes.
Jesus.
Pretty scary.
Wow.
Yeah, that's terrible. But yeah, so you've got your own business and it's in Nashville, is that right?
Yeah, in the Madison Rivergate area.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
If anybody wants to go see you, what's the name of it? What's the location?
Yeah, man. So the name of it is Nashville Neck and Back. If you're familiar, it's just north of Nashville, maybe a 10-minute drive from downtown Nashville. Like I said, in the Madison Rivergate, Goodlettsville area, really close to Hendersonville as well. Got a YouTube channel that's taken off here lately. We do a lot of stuff on there. We've gotten a lot of views and followers here lately, so you can find me on YouTube. Just search Nashville Neck and Back there as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So in comparison here, would you say that your biggest pop came from a wrestling crowd or a patient's back? Which one?
Probably a wrestling crowd. I would have to say a wrestling crowd, but yeah, we've seen some pretty cool stuff here in the office. But yeah, what's the funniest thing is I've got like a little bit of a half wall of fame with some old pictures and stuff on there. And I'll have patients that have been patients in my office for like 6 months before they even realize that like that's me. They just think I'm some big mark or something. And then they'll take a closer look. Because I had long hair back then, and now I'm about to cut my hair. And they're like, "Oh, that's you." So then it's a whole conversation after that.
Yeah, no doubt. That's cool, man. So yeah, you were talking about Bull Payne and Bo James and all the guys. So who was the guys that broke you in and trained you? Was that them?
So yeah. They didn't train me. So I'm originally from Moorhead, Kentucky, and there was a promotion in the area. And the main guy his name was Killer Kurt. I don't think he wrestles anymore, but he did like a German gimmick.
All right.
But he had he had the most southern Eastern Kentucky accent you can possibly imagine. He goes out there and cut promos as a German. It was the greatest thing. But that's who trained me. Like initially trained me to work, but as far as like learning to work on the road, it was guys like that going down to Kingsport and working with Bo. And man, the Batten twins were on pretty much every show that I was on in the beginning. John Noble, Eddie Browning, man, I was very lucky to come in with guys that would beat the hell out of me, but do so in an educational way, not just stretch me to stretch me. I got a really good early education without being taken advantage of.
Yeah. Same here. I appreciate the guys that taught me that in a like a tough love kind of way.
For sure.
Jimmy, jump into conversation here.
Yeah. So thank you for being on the show with us today, Andy. We definitely appreciate it. You are much easier to get than your tag team partner. We had Chase one time, and we've asked you before too.
Podcast, I'm just texting back and forth because I don't think he knows how to operate the phone part.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But anyway, so you started out with Porter at Main Event, right? Is that your first promotion?
No. So in Nashville, yes.
Yes, that's what I meant. I'm sorry, in Nashville, but outside of Nashville.
I was in Eastern Kentucky, and I didn't go much more than like 30, 45 minutes to any other shows for a while, other than doing the stuff for Bo James. So it was Johnny. It was Eddie or Johnny, or it may have been both of them, finally convinced me. It was like, man, you've got what it takes. I was green as crap. I weighed 150 pounds soaking wet, but they saw something that nobody else saw. And they're like, man, you've got what it takes, but if you want to get noticed, you got to go to Nashville with us. That's where you got to go.
Yeah.
And bro, I was so green. I was like, okay. I had no clue. I didn't know what I was like, just point me in the direction. I'll do what I'm told.
Yeah.
So that was for Porter. And I worked for Porter. I don't know, man. It wasn't long. It was maybe 4 or 5, 6 Saturdays in a row or whatever it was. And at the time, Rick Santel was on that show as well. And he was doing a lot of stuff, helping out with TNA at the fairgrounds, like with backstage stuff, like setting up the ring and all that type of stuff. And he convinced me, like, man, if you want to get seen, go with me. Just let them see you. Let them see who you are. Let them just meet people. I was like, okay, great. Let's do it. And the first day there, I remember walking up. It was like noon. We were helping with the ring. And here comes this big guy waddling up to me. And he looked me up and down. Didn't say a word. And he goes, you don't work for Porter anymore. You work for me. I was like, what the hell was that? Turns around, I walked away, and Rick Santel goes, yeah, so that's Burt Prentice. I guess you work for him now. Next thing I know, I'm working for Burt, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now,
that sounds like Burt.
Did he make you go outside when you first showed up and go outside and come back in and pay the gate to come back in and watch the show?
No, he didn't. Okay. He didn't do that. But I still remember that because he didn't introduce himself. I had no idea who he was. Just walked up to me and said, "You work for me now."
So you and Chase, I know I've heard the story. I don't know how much detail I've heard it in, but tell everybody the Tootsie story. I think Chase was with you, correct?
Oh God, which one?
Well, wasn't there one where you ended up getting a knife in your leg?
Okay, so that's not with Chase. So that was with Johnny Devine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Johnny Devine. Yeah.
So you remember back in the TNA days, man, we owned downtown Nashville. I don't think I paid for a drink for like 5 years, and we would go out pretty every night. We were just over. It's not bragging, and I'm not a big part of the early TNA day. I'm just saying TNA was over downtown Nashville with all the bars and clubs.
Oh, yeah.
So the one common place that a lot of us would go, it's not even there anymore, was Bar Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
So we
I remember that.
there, and we would usually end up going to Hurricanes and a bunch of other places. Well, me and Johnny, it was just us. We were rooming together at the time, and we had left one bar, and I think we were actually headed home, and we were driving down Broadway. There was this car next to us, and there was a lot of traffic, so it was like bump and go, stop and go, stop and go.
Yeah.
And there was another car next to us full of dudes talking shit to us, trying to start stuff. And I don't know if you've ever met Johnny Devine, but the dude is short-tempered, hot-headed.
I can't remember who he is. I can't.
He was part of Team Canada, the early days of Team Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
And super awesome dude. Loved Johnny. But, man, he had a temper. And if he'd been drinking, which was like me pretty much all the time, it was even worse.
Yeah.
So, after like 5 minutes of this stop-and-go traffic and them hollering back and forth or whatever they were doing, Johnny was just looked at me and goes, dude, let's go. I was like, okay. So next thing I know, I think it was, I was driving, we pull over in this, I don't even know where it's at. It was on Broadway or 2nd or something like that.
Yeah.
A church parking lot, and wave them in. Of course, they don't know that they've just started something with 2 professional wrestlers. They just think we're just local yokels down in Nashville. Well, it's 4 of them jump out of the car, and I shit you not, we just brutalized the shit out of them. And one of the best things that I've ever seen in a street fight, I look over, I've got one dude, and I'm banging his head up against the car like a turnbuckle. And I look over, and Divine picks this guy up in a textbook belly-to-back suplex on the concrete.
God.
Was he out cold?
The second car shows up, and more of their friends jump out. Well, I start swinging at this guy next to the car, and, you know, I shouldn't have been driving. I had been drinking, and so I'm throwing haymakers this time. I'll never forget. I threw this haymaker. The guy turns his back, and when he turns his back to me, he's facing right up against the passenger door of the car, so he's got nowhere to go. Yeah. And as I start wailing on him, I just see his left hand go out and come back in, and I had no idea what happened. And then I saw him turn and thrust at Johnny, and then they all get in their cars and drive away. That's all. It happened that quick.
Damn.
And we had no idea, because, you know, your adrenaline's rushing. I don't know if you've ever been stabbed or shot, but you just don't know at first. We get in the car, and all of a sudden, Johnny pulls a bloody hand away from his stomach, and he goes, dude, I think I've been stabbed. And at that moment, my left leg just felt like it was on fire. And so I reached down, pulled back a bloody hand as well. I was like, dude, I think we've been stabbed.
Man.
And so next thing I know, we are driving as fast as we can to the hospital. Here we are downtown, and I'm such an idiot. I didn't even think about Vanderbilt. We live out in Hermitage, so we drive all the way out to that hospital that's out there in Hermitage. I can't figure out how to get in because you got to, like, drive around. It's got a weird entrance. So after me taking 2 laps back and forth, can't find the entrance to this place at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, screw this, we're Duke the Hazarding this shit. And I pull off-road and bust through the chain link fence. I'm probably incriminating myself. Bust through the chain link fence, and I drive up to the emergency room, cigarette dangling out of my mouth, dragging my buddy in the emergency room, and these people in the hospital are looking at us like, what in the hell is getting ready to happen? Johnny was like, Hermitage. Man. They had to do a hernia surgery on him. He's got stitches from his belly button all the way up his chest. Like, his guts were, like, coming out of his stomach.
No shit. God damn.
Yeah, he was lucky to be alive, dude. He had major surgery, but he got lucky because he was Canadian. So he had no American credit, so he didn't have to pay his medical bills because what are they going to do? You know, he's got, you know, a citizen. So anyway, he was lucky to be alive after that. I was fortunate just to be stabbed in the leg, but had to have a bunch of stitches. Couldn't walk for a while, but yeah, it was a crazy story.
Fucking A, man. So that's a lot to take in, man. I'm sitting here like, okay, my favorite spot of that, though, is envisioning you giving him the 10 turnbuckles on the car. And
definitely.
I see there's a crowd around going 1, 2, 3, 4. They're counting with it. That's what I see, and that's the way you should tell that story the next time you tell it. Say like there's a big crowd around them, blah blah blah. So that's what I would do if I was you. You know, it's your story. You can tell it how the fuck you want, but yeah, that's pretty awesome, man. I mean, it ain't awesome, but it is awesome at the same time. It's one of those,
I mean, stupid stuff.
Old school wrestling stories.
Nowadays. You know, I'd be scared. I mean, I'm too old and I don't drink. I'm just saying I'd be scared to death nowadays to pick a fight in the bar. I mean, you'd be shot. Oh, I know,
man. You look at some of the stuff you did back then and you're like, man, I'm lucky to be alive.
Yeah.
I swear, I think I counted it up one time. I've been in and only I think one was I driving, but I've been in like 10 car wrecks. And one of them I was ejected. You know, it's like, what the heck, man? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Thankfully, and I don't know how, good Lord looking over me, I was never in a car wreck like that, but I should have been.
So you said there's more. And so that really didn't involve Tootsie. So there's got to be a Tootsie story. So this is my favorite part of the show right here. This type of stuff. I could care less talking wrestling. Stuff.
And I wasn't the instigator. I was almost always the peacemaker because, you know, Chase, he was the one that didn't take much to get him started. The story that you might be thinking of is the time we kind of got kicked out of Tootsie's for a while because you know how it is, man. You're in a bar, everybody's drinking, and everybody's girl is looking at the group of wrestlers. Yeah. So these guys get pissed off, they get jealous, they want to step up, they want to test you, or they start to, this is fake shit. And then it don't take much, man. When it's 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning and you're 12 beers deep and you've got a temper like Tracy, and brother, we were always side by side. That was the one thing I loved about our time as a tag team. You hear these other guys that don't really get along, man. We were always together.
Yeah.
So I knew when it was going to happen. I was like, here we go. But that one time, probably the worst is when the fight actually didn't start inside. We actually took it outside. Chase beat the ever living shit out of this guy on the sidewalk right in front of Tootsie's. And I literally had to like bear hug and pick Chase up and like carry him down to the Legends corner. And then we took off because the police started coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't too crazy of a story. That's just what happened. But
yeah, that's my favorite part of the shows. I mean, we can talk about wrestling or whatever, but I'll leave that part to Jimmy. Hot tag.
I just want to know how many times you've seen Chase beat the shit out of somebody.
That's like asking me how many matches I've had. I
know, right? My bad.
And it wasn't. And to give Chase credit, he really didn't go out looking for it. He just wasn't one to walk away from it either.
Right.
But like I just said, man, we would be out all the time because we weren't these weekend warrior guys. Me and Chase kind of made our own territory when there really wasn't a territory. So we were working 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week all over Memphis to Evansville to other places in Kentucky and Knoxville and Chat. I mean, we were doing as much as we could to get our names out there before the TNA days. And of course, after the show, where are we going? We're going out to the bar. And so it was weekly. It was almost every week we were getting in some kind of scrap.
And your buddy's out there still doing it, Andy. Can you tell him, like, what's up, man? There's life after wrestling. Chase is still the lone soldier out there, man.
It's crazy. Props to him, though. There's no way, man. I couldn't even. I'd throw my back out just putting my boots on at this time.
No lie.
Yeah. Well, I do have a real wrestling question here. So I've always been enamored because my favorite tag teams are Rock and Roll Express and PG-13. So, and I'm a musician, so there's something about the music tag teams that have always kind of kicked it off for me. So, starting out a Rock and Roll Express fan, get a little older, become a PG-13 fan. Well, as I'm reading, and we did research on the Chase show about a year ago, and I remember reading, and you guys were at one point the Naturals, but then Lawler changed you to the Alternative Express.
Yes. So we were doing Memphis for a short period of time until we had enough run-ins with the Moondogs. We were like, screw this. So we weren't really making any money. And when the money that we were making, we had to like wait around for an hour after show to follow Corey around to beg for our payday. So it just got to be wasn't worth it for us. But shortly after starting in Memphis, whoever Lawler was dating at the time, I think the story goes it was his girlfriend's idea to turn us into the Alternative Express. So he sends Jimmy Hart and somebody else to Target, and they get a bunch of Slipknot, Marilyn Manson type clothes, and Lawler comes in with some face paint and paints these god awful things on our faces, and we got to go out and pretend like we're emo, and it was terrible. We hated doing it. But silver lining to that was, just like you, my biggest mark, when I was a kid, when I first broke in, when I was first watching, it was because of my grandmother. And the Rock and Roll Express was her favorite tag team, and that's who I grew up just loving more than anybody.
Yeah.
So the silver lining of the story was, that's the whole point, I think, of doing the Alternative Express, is because we did an angle to get to work the Rock and Roll Express in the Mid-South Coliseum, where I was fortunate enough to be able to take the double drop kick for the 1, 2, 3, and here I am laying in the middle of the ring with a big shitting grin on my face because I just took the double drop kick from the Rock and Roll Express in the Mid-South Coliseum, and that was definitely one of the highlights of my career.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Love it.
Who's more snug with the drop kick? Who hits it harder, Ricky or Robert?
I was on Seventh Heaven. I don't even remember.
Wolfie, can you tell me?
It's usually they're in sync so well. It's literally a double drop kick. So I wouldn't put it on either one of them.
Okay, so it's just it hits you like one hit.
All at once. All at once.
Yeah. I mean, God almighty, they're the best. I love it. No disrespect to you, PG-13, sir. But I want to hear, okay, so obviously, you told that story about Byrd coming up to you. And the reason I was curious about your first stop in Nashville is because Porter was my first stop in Nashville. But then I went on to Byrd to work for Byrd. And that's actually where I started getting paid. I would love to hear if you've got any funny Byrd stories, man.
Yeah.
Funny Byrd stories, man. I mean, Byrd was really good to us. The only time, if you were around Byrd long enough, you knew when he was in a pissy mood, and you just knew either ignore him, not take anything he said to heart, or just avoid him. Yeah, I mean, he was so moody, but if he was in a good mood, then he was like the best guy in the world to be with him. Yeah. So I don't know if off the top of my head I can think of any funny stories, but I did one time, kind of what you said earlier, did he ask me to go out and pay? He didn't do that, but after I'd been working for him a while, I had brought a girl I was dating to Nashville with me just to watch the show, and I guess I made the mistake of taking her backstage before the show started.
Oh, God.
And brother, he came backstage, and I don't know if he was just doing it to be Byrd or to show his authority or whatever, but he threw the biggest fit and made me kick her out and walk out. Yeah, he made a big scene about it. So
it's funny. It's so funny to hear the stories of Byrd, because I had a different relationship with him because of timing. Like when I met Byrd, he was just a manager in Memphis. He wasn't a big promoter and all that kind of stuff. To where he could, a lot of the guys, probably you coming in then, felt like he had some stroke and all that kind of stuff. Definitely. I always ignored Byrd and his moods. You know what I'm saying? I
didn't know any better. I mean, I was. And that's one thing, if I could do all over, I would have done a little bit more homework and research to know what I was walking into. Man, I came down to Nashville and I didn't know anybody. Right. I didn't know who Porter was. I didn't know who Byrd was. And so I just went by what people told me. But the one thing I will put him over for was at that time, now he was getting some rub off of TNA being in the fairgrounds.
Right.
But to give him credit out of anybody else in the Middle Tennessee area, he was pretty much the only one running good quality shows that would pay decent on a consistent basis,
right,
in a decent radius around Nashville, so that you weren't just working, a Saturday. I mean, he was running there for a while, 3 or 4 shows, and then he had the TV studio shows that were really good, I thought, in a couple different studios, but nobody else was doing that, at least to that quality.
Plus, he would take you up to Illinois, Kentucky. I mean, he would take you out. And I got to travel because of Byrd. And I mean, that, again, I'm just a manager, but again, that meant a lot. That made me feel like I was actually becoming a wrestler, part of the team, I guess. Yeah.
Sure.
But I do remember one time Byrd was definitely in a pissy mood. He was like, change your tie. That looks horrible. And I'm like,
just dumb shit like that.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Got it.
But and like you were saying, like, I wasn't trying to say that Byrd wasn't good to me. Byrd was good to me too, but it was just a different relationship that I had with him, to where I would tell him to fuck off, or I threatened to punch him in the face one night, right in the middle of the ring. And I was serious. Tell him that
story, man.
Because I haven't told this one in a while for the listeners, and I'm sure Andy probably doesn't know it. But so, because here's Byrd's thing. Byrd used to tell me I was a bully because, like, he'd give me, like Shane Eaton or something like that. And I've always been a snug worker, man. Sorry, but he thought I was being a bully and stuff like that. So anyway, he, I was like one of his top heels at the time, right? And we're at the fairgrounds, and we're coming out of intermission, and my music plays, and I go to the ring, and I get in the ring. So it's time for, I think it was Shane, actually, that it was time for his music to play. And all of a sudden, Byrd comes running up next to the ring with the microphone. He's like, hang on. We got a raffle to do. I almost forgot. Blah, blah, blah.
You got to get that raffle money.
And he's gonna let his, me stand there in the middle of the ring while he's doing a fucking raffle? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? And so I went up to him and like he's got the mic and I kind of like pushed the mic down so it couldn't be heard over the mic. And I said it between my teeth where the people in the front row couldn't hear me. But I got right in his face and I said, if you don't play that motherfucker's music right now, I swear to God, I'm going to punch you right in the fucking face. And he looked at me kind of funny. And then he grabs the mic and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and have this match. And then we'll do the raffle after this match.
Yeah. I don't blame you, man.
I'm serious.
He would do these raffles and it'd be like 11:30 at night before the show would be over. He'd do so many raffles.
You ain't gonna leave me in the middle of the ring standing there with my thumb in my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The fuck ever. A lot of people would have just went with it and sat there like a goof. But yeah, that's what I mean though by the type of relationship we had. He couldn't do that type of shit to me when he could to other people.
Oh, for sure.
Please take this as the being a jokester that I am, okay? But who here can say that they've lost a job because of a social media post? Can anyone say?
No.
So that's bullshit. I need to clarify that.
Thank you. That's what I wanted you to do. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So I know what you are referring to, and I've never really had a chance to clarify that. So I'm happy to do that.
Here's a great platform to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So back in my day, we didn't have this Facebook and Twitters and TikToks and all that garbage. We just had MySpace, which for professional wrestlers was awesome because it was a really good way to get a lot of bookings out of state.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was really popular on MySpace for these, like, I don't even know what you call them, like little personal surveys. They'd be like a series of like 10, 20, 30 questions. What's your favorite food? Who's your favorite band? What's this? What's that? And you would just answer them and post them and share them. And it was what it was. Well, somebody had made the comment about our hair and if we would ever cut our hair. And this was a fan making the comment on my personal page. And I had said something to the comment with that we would never do that. Something to that effect. Like, oh, we'd never cut our hair. Nobody's going to make us cut our hair. That type of thing. Well, fast forward, however long this was later, towards the end of our TNA run, and it was clearly the end of our TNA run. That's when we were with Shane Douglas, and that's when the whole hair thing came up. And I know for a fact that it was just brought up because of that reason. And what I mean by that is, let me set this up right. So you've got to understand, towards the end of our career at TNA, we were making no money. They put us with Shane Douglas to try to get us over a little bit more. And when they did that, they wanted us to immediately switch from our pink and black to yellow and black tights and boots. Right. Wolfie, you ain't running down to Dick's Sporting Goods and getting wrestling boots.
No.
You got to custom them. You got to send that order in. It takes forever, and it's freaking expensive. And the same thing with your tights. Yeah. We didn't have the money to do that, brother. Like, I didn't have an extra $200-$300 for boots. I didn't have $200-$300 for tights. But we came up with it, and the guy that did our custom boots was that like Mexican dude in Arkansas. I can't even remember the name of it. He made like,
I know you're talking about.
Yeah, awesome boots, best boots I've ever seen. He thankfully rush ordered our yellow and black boots and got them to us in like a record amount of time. And we did all of that to show that, like, hey, we're still with the company. We're still going to do what you want us to do. We can't afford to do this. We are losing money on this, but we're company guys. We're going to do what you asked us to do. Well, then it got to the point where the whole hair situation came. They took us in the trailer, and AMW had broken up. Team 3D, the Dudley boys were in the company. And in the trailer, it was me and Chase on the couch, and then it was Dutch Mantell, Jeremy Borash, Scott D'Amore, Bill Banks, I think, and maybe one or two other people. Brother, it was in stereo. It was so scripted. They didn't even try to make it look real. The first thing they brought up is they filled us full of bullshit like, oh, you guys are going to be the new heel team of the company. We're going to put everything on you guys. After they had nothing for us, and we could tell that that's where it was going.
Right.
Then it came up like, we want you to cut your hair very short. Now, you've got to understand, at this time, we didn't have contracts with TNA.
Yeah.
Our contracts had expired, and we had not renegotiated new contracts. We hadn't even been offered new contracts in a long time. We were just like on a weekly as needed basis. And if they called us to TV, we were getting paid per show. We had no contract. So in our minds, we were like, no, why would we do this? We've already wasted all this money. Why would we change our look if you can't even give us an extension on our contract? Because we could cut our hair today, and tonight you could say, well, go home. We don't need you anymore.
Yeah, right.
Man.
In addition to that, we had been company guys since day one. We were like original TNA dudes. You want us to go out there and job? Brother, we'll go out there and job. You want us to put somebody over? We'll put somebody over. And that became kind of our job there for a while because they knew they could put anybody with us and we'd make them look good. When they brought in that linebacker, who'd they put him with? Us. When they brought in other people that couldn't work for shit, who'd they put them with? Us.
Right.
Because we knew we could make them look good. And so it got to the point, man, towards the end, it was just like, we are sick and tired of not really being appreciated, and we're sick and tired of having no direction, and you can't even pay us. We're making no money, and you're demanding all this stuff from us. And it just felt like one of those things, like there comes a time in your career where you got to stand up for yourself. Yeah. And to be honest with you, it was 99% nothing to do with the hair. I could have given two shits about cutting my hair. It was the fact that we felt like they were just pushing us to the brink to see how much we could take. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not doing it, brother. I'm not. And so what I meant was how fake it looked, and it was all set up. When they brought that to us, and I didn't even say no. I was the one that spoke up. I didn't say no. I was like, I think I said something like, well, I don't think we're comfortable with cutting our hair. And before I could finish my sentence, every one of those agents stood up in stereo and walked out of the trailer. So they were waiting. They were just waiting for us to balk at anything. They could have cared less. They were going to approach us with anything to make us kind of hesitant on anything so that they can get up and then run off and tell everybody else that we're hard to deal with and we're not the guys for the job.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after that happened, we were like, well, shit, are we fired? What's going on? So we went to Jeff, who was going through his own personal stuff at the time, and it was hard to get his attention. But I was like, look, hey, can you just give us, like, I don't know, some money? Can we get like a guarantee or something here? And he got all fight and pissed at us and just blew us off and walked away. Now, to give him credit, and I've not talked to him about this, and we're on good terms nowadays, I don't know if he knew at the time we didn't have contracts, because that was the big kicker. If we were under contract, it had been a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he knew that or not. But anyway, when that all happened, that was kind of the domino effect of it. Wasn't much longer after that where we were done with TNA.
Wow.
And I don't regret it because, man, they had nothing for us. We had run our course there. I was messed up on what I was doing, and it was just frustrating, man.
No, that's completely understandable. And definitely. I can totally see that whole scenario. And I guarantee you, they were waiting on you because they figured when we tell them to cut their hair, they're not going to want to, you know what I mean? I could just see that. They
saw the MySpace post and they're like, hey, this is how we can get them.
Yeah. Yeah. Guarantee they was waiting on it. That's the wrestling business, man.
Man.
Unfortunately.
Man, the biggest thing that hindered our career, other than drugs and alcohol, honestly, the biggest thing that hindered our career is, Wolfie, to excel in this business, it's 99% what you do behind the curtains. It's you could be the shittiest guy in the ring and still get over. And Chase and I weren't those guys, man. We weren't those political guys. We weren't the ass kissers. I just couldn't do it.
Me neither, man. Me neither.
It is what it is.
That's what I tell so many people, man. I think had I been a better ass kisser, not that I didn't do well in the business, but I could have done more if I would have been a better ass kicker, better politician, but I'm not that way, man. If I don't like you, I'm not going to act like I do, that type of thing. You know what I mean? I just never.
Right. And I've told just about every podcast or interview that I've done, and this is what hurts my heart the most about my whole entire career. The higher up we got in our careers, the less fun wrestling became. Yeah. Like when we first got to TNA, man, we were on top of when we were running the territory. That was my favorite memory of being a professional wrestler. When we first got to TNA, it was pretty awesome. But as we climbed the ladder in TNA, man, it was just like, I might as well go do a 9 to 5. I'm not even having fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
Man, we could go on forever with this, I can tell. But before we do run out of time, I really want to talk about Chris Candido, because Chris was, I know, had an influence with you guys. He was my guy, me and Jamie's guy, I should say, in ECW. That's the guy that got us there. Him and Tracy, some others. So, I had a good relationship with him. Talk about Chris, man.
Chris was awesome, man. They again, we just had a string of bad luck, man. We would start to get over, and then something would happen. We'd start to get over, and then something would happen. And sure enough, they put us with Chris. And when they first put us with Chris, we're like, what in the hell? This makes no sense. He doesn't. There's no history here. There's nothing that really ties us together.
Yeah.
But brother, from the moment he went out the curtain with us, something was just there.
Yeah.
He was so good. He was so good on the mic. He was so just that whole match when after he broke his leg, and I'm sure you've heard the story where we had like 10 minutes to feel like they sent us home way too early. And here he just takes the mic and cuts an impromptu promo, like one of the best promos ever. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it hurts my heart to know that he fought similar demons that myself and a lot of us did. And he was able to conquer those demons, and he was still taken away from us too soon, man. It kills me. But at the same breath, I'm happy that he went out that way as opposed to being alone in a hotel room by himself,
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Man.
But he was awesome. And I wish, looking back, I would have had more time with him. I wish I would have had, of the time that we had, I wish I would have gone the extra mile to spend more time with him, to talk with him. But, dude, at that time, I couldn't get back to my hotel room quick enough with my little bag of goodies. And I wasn't into conversating. I wasn't into learning. I was get me out of here as quick as I can so I can go stay up for 2 days straight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I regret that. I regret some of the relationships that could have been much better had I not been so screwed up.
For sure, man. There's been a lot of people that I've had on here, and I've said this, man, many times, is been around so many different people, but didn't really take the time, unless it was in the ring, to learn from them now. Didn't really take the time to sit down and get to know people. I mean, dude, it's like some people that I was around all the time, I hardly knew them. Except for in the ring, that's it. And then I get them on here and I talk to them and, find out a whole different side and things I didn't know. And I mean, in recent, I've actually made some friends from this podcast, Joel Deaton being one of them. I never wrestled him a day in my life, but love him to death. Talk to him all the time. Tony Anthony, Dirty White Boy, talk to him all the time. No, we were, we wrestled each other quite a bit, but I never was around him really. You know what I'm saying? We talk all the time. And it's just crazy how that mentality that you were talking about let's do our shit, let's get over, and let's get the fuck out of here,
And I think too that's another thing that's lost with the way our business is today. Guys aren't working like they used to work. They're only working 1 or 2 days a month or whatever, so they're not hitting the road with the older guys. And those 4 and 5 hour trips, being in the car with Bo James and Tracy Smothers, just being some young punk kid with my mouth shut and my ears open, man, some of those are some of the better memories than anything. Just hearing those guys tell stories and talk about stuff and trying to learn from them was invaluable.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Candido to me was so underrated just for his ability in the ring, but also for his mic skills. And I was watching TNA hard at that time. Like it was a regular thing. I made time. I think I had DVR maybe at the time. Anyway, if I didn't, I was taping it, something. If I couldn't catch it, I was watching TNA. And I love that trio of you three. I thought there was some strange magic, I think is what you could call that, because like you said, on paper, you guys don't fit, but you do, because you do, and when you put them together, it makes sense. So I don't know, but
I think it was the fact that, we were kind of like the cocky pretty boy heels that would also easily play the chicken shit heel role. And here we had Candido, who was always kind of a smaller guy. So he could play that role really well as well, but he could also talk really well on the mic. So I think that just kind of naturally gelled with us, and it was magic, but it was a flash in the pan, and it was great while it was there.
Yeah. Hey, and I'm gonna do something here that I never do on this show, but I feel like we're barely scraping the tip of the iceberg here, man, of getting the full story out of you and questions I want to ask you. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to just do the stupid ass fucking thing with the names. I'm going to throw some names out there and just give me a few words about each person. Are
you going to play the name game, Wolf?
Yeah, man. I don't ever do that, but I know we're running out of time and there's other shit I want to talk about, but I know we're not going to get to it. So I think this would be the easiest way to do that.
Hit that music.
Elix Skipper.
Man, we worked quite a bit. He was very athletic, but sometimes could be difficult to work with because some of those guys that had been around longer than us just always wanted to get all their shit in. And with TNA, that was kind of difficult because you may have like a 10-minute match. And by the time you walk through the curtain, the ref's in your ear cutting you down to 6 minutes. And everybody's got to get their stuff in. And some of those guys I think they kind of pulled seniority on us. Yeah. But I liked him. He was a cool dude, though.
Yeah. Storm
was good. And some of our best matches was against AMW. We knew if we were on these house shows or whatever with TNA or just normal shows, we knew without a doubt we were going to have a good match with Chris and Storm.
Yeah. That's the next one, Chris Harris.
Yeah. And Chris, I think me and Chris were closer than me and Storm because it seemed like when we would split off during the match, it was always me and Harris going in one direction and Chase and Storm going the other direction. And I don't know, we just always got along and enjoyed a lot working with those guys, even though it could be like pulling teeth to call a match with them. But once we got out there, it was pretty smooth.
David Young.
Brother, we could do a whole hour on David Young. That's a guy I wish that I had been around early on in my career. And I enjoyed all the time at TNA. And even when we were doing some like Rome, Georgia and some Georgia Championship Wrestling, I always had a blast with him. He would always take us out after the shows and just, man, he's another dude that was super underrated. I mean, to be his size and be able to do some of the stuff he could do, he was awesome.
I don't know if you've seen him lately, but he's got fucking abs, bro.
Yeah, he's probably on that Ozempic shit.
It could be. Plus he's got a new girlfriend, he's training harder.
Good for him. There you go.
Good for him.
He's always worked.
He did the one and only run-in on this podcast. Me and Jimmy. Who are we talking to, Jimmy?
Oh, my God. Oh, it was Bob Cook.
Bob Cook was on the phone, and I got a call like an hour before from Rod Hicks, the guy that owns Collar and Elbow. He lives here in Somerset. Yeah. And so he said, David Young's at my house. He wants to come to your house. I was like, well, I'm fixing to do a podcast. And so anyway, we're talking to Bob Cook, and here's Rod and David at my door coming in doing a run-in on my podcast.
There you go. Why
funny.
Not, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's pretty funny, man. Man, Andy, it's been great talking to you, man. Do you got any, Jimmy? The
one question I would ask, if you have time for it real quick, is, and this is my favorite question lately, so Wolfie probably knows what this is, but if you were to have a pause button or a rewind button on your life or your career, whatever, what would you pick?
You mean... Phrase that again.
Yeah, no, it's cool. If you had a magical pause or rewind button, you could rewind all the way to the start if you want to, or you could just pause right now and make it last. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the time, like I said earlier, when Chase and I were really burning up the roads, like Sunday to Sunday, those were the best, man. And I don't think I truly appreciated those times because you're working so hard and you're so hungry to get known and to get to that next level. You don't really truly appreciate working in front of 40 or 50 people. Sure. When really looking back on it, those are usually some of the most fun shows that you can do because you really make a connection with the crowd. And I look back on those times, and unfortunately a lot of that, because of things, and I just don't have the best memory, a lot of that I don't remember, or it's kind of a haze. I'm not like Chase or even like Cornette or these other crazy people that can tell you what they did in 82 and Indiana in front of 32 people, and the ticket sales were $7 and this was the main event and they went 12 minutes and 32 seconds. They can name off every single little detail. I'm not like that, dude. I'm like, man, I kind of remember 2002 maybe.
I'm the same.
But it's like when I do stuff like this and people bring up questions or mention certain things, that's when it kind of jolts me and kicks in. So that's why I like doing this. But yeah, that time was really fun. And I think if I could pause that time, I would tell myself I'm not as good as I think I am and to study and do more homework. I wish I would have. I think my case, I think I got pushed to the top from when I first broke in to coming to Nashville to meeting Byrd and to getting on TNA happened so quick. I kind of thought my shit didn't stink. And so it kind of got to the point where I just hit cruise control and didn't really study or try to get better after a certain point. And then that attitude ran into cocaine and alcohol. So I just really coasted for like the next 5 years after that. And kind of shot myself in the foot as far as my wrestling career. But, you know, it is what it is.
It's funny because, and I just said it a few minutes ago, talking to people on here, I feel like me and you almost had a similar mindset in the business, and it's almost a similar story as far as that type of shit goes, man. Because I was the same way. I knew I was good, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't really, I mean, I wanted to be the best, but it's like I probably could have done a little bit more to help myself out. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah. But man, it's been a pleasure talking to you, bro. Again, tell the people the name of your place.
Yeah. So my office is called Nashville Neck and Back. We're in Middle Tennessee, just north of Nashville, Tennessee. Also, you can find me on YouTube. Just search Nashville Neck and Back and enjoy the content on there.
Yeah.
Nashville Neck and Back. My pussy and my crack. No, that should be your commercial.
I may have to bleep some of that out.
We don't bleep on here.
Not on here, but you know. Yeah.
But anyway, dude, seriously, thank you for coming on. Like I said, it's been fun talking to you. And you know, most of the time at 1 hour, I'm going, God bless. Let's hang up. Let's be done with this. And this, unfortunately,
I hear you.
is a little bit different where I could keep going with you. But man, you get back to cracking those backs. And man, again, thanks.
Thank you, man. Thanks you so
dude.
much.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Give me a call. We'll do it again if you want to.
Thank you again, man.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Take care, sir. Thank you.
This has been a James Rock Street production.